Welcome to this week's edition of Mountain Outhouse News. I'm your host, Jam Jam. This is the crazy that happened in running this week. This week's stories include Jim Walmsley's Pemberton 50K course record, the 30-day treadmill record, and a new Mount Marathon entry process. Let's just get straight into it. There's some major hype surrounding Jim Walmsley leading into the Olympic marathon trials at the end of the month. I venture to say he is likely the most talked about athlete heading into this event. He's been dominant at the ultra distance the past couple of years and has been smashing out sub 3-hour 50K training runs for the past few weekends in his unique prep for the race. His unconventional approach might be just what's needed to make the Olympic team. As a tune-up, Jim showed up at the Pemberton 50K this weekend in Arizona. The two-loop course is a bit short of 50K, but he extended on past his win and new course record of 2:49 to get the full distance. He smashed a 13-year-old record, which was viewed as quite untouchable, set by Paul DeWitt back in 2007 of 3:11. Jim not only broke through the 3-hour barrier, but just smashed the thing to pieces. We'll all be rooting for you, Jim, come the end of the month. With more, we go to our Beast Coast correspondent, A. Jizzle Whizzle.
Hey, Outhouse Nation! It's A. Jizzle Whizzle checking in from the Beast Coast. Hey, I don't know if any of you noticed, but this past weekend, Jim Walmsley ran an incredible 50K, 3 weeks out from his Olympic trials marathon. You know, the Pemberton 50K in McDowell Mountain Park in Arizona is actually one of the epic classic 50Ks. It's been around since the late 90s. It's a pure 15.5-mile loop that Walmsley covered twice in 2 hours and 49 minutes. To put that in perspective, back when I was fast, I ran it in 3:50 and thought that I was just amazing. Of course, Walmsley would have crushed me by an hour, practically lapped me. So amazing stuff from Jim. Hope you all are enjoying Valentine's week. Until next time, A. Jizzle Whizzle from the Beast Coast.
Next, we move on over to California for Kira Henninger's Sean O'Brien Trail races. That featured a 100K and 50 mile in the Santa Monica Mountains, where we saw Lucia Bueller win in 10:59 for the women. Top guy was Daniel Kahn in 10:10. Dylan Bowman stepped into the 50 mile, winning in 7:05, with Stacia Watson winning the shorter distance in 10:18. Thank you to Outhouse viewer Jay Durand for this next tip of Pablo Espinosa's treadmill world record attempt to run 1,500 miles over 30 days. As of the filming of this episode, he was 14 days in, averaging almost 50 miles to date. He's run close to 710 miles since starting and is 404 miles away from breaking the current best. Mount Marathon, likely the world's toughest 50K held annually July 4th in Seward, Alaska, has new entry standards for 2020, so listen up. The recent success and marketing of the event has pushed the entry process to an unsustainable model, so the race director is making some changes. Previously, there had been a cap of 350 men and the same number of women selected each year. That will go up to 375 per gender, split into 3 waves instead of 2. Previously, the top 225 were auto entry for next year, but that will switch to a top 50% in each age group. This should allow more first-timers to gain entry through the lottery. Entries open March 1st. Now to Washington for results from the snowy and cold Orca Island 100. Shout out to Alex Borsuk, who won in 26 hours 40 minutes, and Malcolm Suarez in 21:24 for the men. On to some international flavor. Tarawera was the next UTWT race, and the 102K was the premier distance, although a 100 mile is now also offered. Tom Evans won convincingly in 8:03 with Matthew Blanchard second in 8:39, Chris Brown third, top American in 8:40. For the ladies, Manuela Sochi won in 9:39 with Anne-Marie Madden on her heels second in 9:52. Shout out also to Elson McDonald, who won the 100 miler in 18:10. Sponsor Shakeup 2020. It was announced this week that ultra runner Caitlin Gerben has signed with the North Face. We'll be running for them going forward. Gerben previously ran for La Sportiva. We're still waiting on Sabrina Stanley's shoe announcement, which she said was coming in February. Come on, Sabrina. Let's have it. An update on the Nike Alphafly. It looks like it won't be banned after all. It conveniently just barely squeaked under the bar set by World Athletics. So these Nikes will be making their way into the Olympic Games this summer after all. The coronavirus is now affecting trail and ultra racing in China. Gyeollagong by UTMB, which was slated for March 23rd, has been postponed all the way to the end of the year. It'll happen December 18th through the 20th. New Global Running Championship Series is launched by Spartan. They have combined the likes of 6 existing events, a departure from their normal business model of organizing their own races, to form a series with $270,000 in prize money. The races to be included are Patagonia Run, Lavaredo Fall Marathon, Kodiak La Ruta Trail, and Trans Gran Canaria. It is unclear exactly what these will look like or how the overlapping UTWT races will integrate. Now for some travel-heavy marathon streak runs. Comedian Eddie Lizard is running 28 marathons in 28 days in 28 European capital cities. He's done something like this before, but this time his plan is to promote common humanity across Europe and to raise money for UNICEF. He started January 31st in London. And now for a bit of controversy. We've covered this one before, but is understandably getting a bit of flack on Twitter in this day and age of climate change activism. The 7 marathons in 7 days on 7 continents kicks off soon, but the question is why? Of course, it is impressive in its scale and logistics, but does it do more harm than good? Well, I'll let you decide, Outhouse Nation. Let me know in the comments. Bad for the environment, or not that big of a deal? And finally, let's wrap it up with the next Western States Golden Ticket race happening this weekend at the 2020 Black Canyon 100K. North America's largest 100K kicks off in Arizona this weekend. Here's the fields. Camille Herron is a late entrant and will be facing Magda Boulet, Cecilia Flory, who won JFK 50 last fall, Joe Meek of England, Alison Baca, Stephanie Austin, second at Tarawera last year, and Corinne Malcolm. On the men's side, Hayden Hawks leads the field, facing off against Charlie Ware, Tyler Siegel, Kanhua Lau, Jesse Haynes, and Jeff Colt. It's going to be a good one, and the full point-to-point course is on tap and guaranteed this year. Thanks for tuning in to episode 183 of Outhouse News. This show would not be possible without the support of our Patreon contributors who help with the production of this show each and every week. Join the Patreon crew at the link below for as little as $2 per month. Thank you in advance. Huge shout out to our $50 level supporters, Squirrels Nut Butter, Brian Sands, Mark Grabowski, and the Twisted Fork Ultra out of Park City, as well as our $25 level supporters, Bluebird Running Company, Sean Trujillo, Carrie Savage, Renee Feint, Casey Carter, and Jeff Holbrook. Thanks for checking out the show, and we'll see you next time. If you have crazy stories to share or a question or feedback for the show, please leave a comment below. If you'd like to own this custom pair of Jam Jam sunglasses, complete with a signed certificate of authenticity, check out the link in the description. Have a shitty week.